least in the interim, there are some things that can never be assigned to oblivion and memories we can never rub away. And with those thoughts, I gladly welcome you to Maritime Today, your gateway into the maritime sector. Maritime Today brings you latest happenings within the maritime space, stimulating very rich discourse that will trigger 360 degrees development of the maritime sector. This program comes to you every Wednesdays by 9:15 and Saturdays by 10:15, bringing you resource persons, policy directions from regulators, and views from stakeholders as port vehicle, of course, as potent vehicles for the attainment of a vibrant maritime industry. So it's always a pleasure having you join us at this time. My name is Victor Oteri. On the program today, we will be revisiting some things that are happening within the maritime sector, especially emerging trends as it relates to processes, that's processing charges and tariffs. All right. So very recently, the Nigerian Customs Service introduced the 4% processing charge for goods and for clearing of goods within the port. So what does this processing charge fee? What is it for? And also this week, the Nigerian Ports Authority has also announced plans to also, do an upward review of the tariffs for imported goods. These are many more we'll be reflecting on this program. And of course, we'll be bringing you the latest gist as well, plus updates that will be coming in from time to time. These are many more we'll be reflecting on. But first off, let's take a detour to have a word from our partners. And when we return, it'll be time to set sail.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you. Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a needle. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem when shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily lane. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting now for the port of Nanir.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime Today is a program we set for the conversation, but quickly, let's get you through the roads. Most of the areas we're covering still looking pretty cool and calm. Even from our live cameras in the studios, we can tell you things are still looking very good. The update from the Apapa corridor says apart from the earlier reported accident that occurred at Coconut inwards Mile 2, which is being worked on, movement from Outer Wharf inwards Berja Suya, connecting Sunrise down to Coconut is looking pretty good at this time. Tinkand is also looking good. And most of the areas there within the Apapa corridor, things are still moving on pretty fine. No major worries driving through that end. All right, then right here in Ikeja, it's also looking good as well. And movement from Inner Marina and the Central Business District, free flow of traffic at the Inner Marina Road from UBA roundabout, proceeding towards NNPC filling station, down to Cathedral Church, up to Nightel intersection, all looking pretty good. State House inwards McQueen Bridge, connecting Forest Road, is also very free at the moment. Appreciable movement is being experienced as well from Zone 2 underneath the bridge, proceeding towards Flagstaff House, inwards Johnny McQueen Bridge. We can also tell you traffic is looking very good as well from Onikon roundabout, heading towards TBS, inwards Waterboy, and linking up with Nightel intersection. All those areas looking very good. The entire stretch of Igbo-Shiri Road as well as Broad Street is also looking very good at the moment. King's College, proceeding towards Catholic Mission Street, inwards Johnny, Garnew Smith as well. All those areas looking very good and no impediments cited. So we'll be serving you more helpings as they come in from our traffic managers. But right now, let's have the latest news in the maritime space. And Mike James is here to take us through that in less than 5 minutes.
you for staying here. This is the Maritime News. The Federal Operations Unit Zone A of the Nigeria Customs Service on Tuesday revealed that its officers intercepted a 40-foot container loaded with 4,410 dried donkey skin with a street value of 4,235 billion naira, scheduled for export purpose in Lagos. This was made known in the zone's inaugural media briefing of the year of its activities between 25th December 2024 to the 4th of February 2025 in the areas of anti-smuggling, revenue generation and facilitation of trade. Addressing newsmen in Lagos, the head of the unit, Comptroller Kola Oladeji, said that all efforts by the owners in luring his officers to compromise their stance on the seized donkey skin were outrightly rebuffed. Comptroller Oladeji further revealed that other seized items include 3,031 foreign parboiled rice with a value of 387 billion naira, 2,725 parcels of cannabis weighing 1,378 kilogram with a value of over 2.18 billion naira, 397 kegs of premium motor spirit worth 1,588 billion naira, 118 cartons of frozen poultry products worth 2.832 billion naira, 105 bales of second-hand clothing, and 21 vehicles with a value of 561.33 billion naira. He said his men exhibited strict professional conduct and relentless efforts in enforcing the provisions of the Nigeria Customs Service Act 2023 as it relates to import, exports, revenue, security of lives and properties across the borders of the southwestern states. In another news, clearing agents operating in the nation's maritime industry have called for caution over the sudden implementation of a 4% customs processing charge newly introduced on Tuesday. Speaking at a press briefing, former acting national president of the Association of Nigeria Licensed Customs Agents, ANLCA, Dr. Kayode Farinto, pointed out the lack of due process in rolling out the new charge and necessitated the suspension. He said, while the levy is backed by law, its execution has been flawed. He explained that provision for the 4% charge is embedded in the Customs Act 2023, especially in Section 18, which mandates customs to collect not less than 4% of the free onboard FOB value of imports as a financing mechanism for customs operations. However, he pointed out that the Nigeria Customs Service NCS introduction of the levy contradicts Section 23 of the same Act, which requires public notification and stakeholders' engagement before implementing new charges. According to him, this increment was imposed without the necessary sensitization of the trading community as required by law. The Act clearly states that customs must ensure that all relevant information on importation, exportation, and applicable charges is made publicly available. However, we only woke up to find the new charge embedded in the system without prior notice, which is unacceptable, end of quote. He emphasized that even in developing economies, new trade-related policies follow procedural codes, including using circulars to relevant stakeholders such as government agencies, freight forwarders, and trade associations. He argued that there has been no official circular or public notification on the new charge. This is against international best practices, and as such, I advise that this charge be withdrawn immediately and a minimum of 90 days be given for proper sensitization before implementation, he said, end of quote. And finally, as part of efforts to ensure the National Single Window NSW project delivers the much-desired efficiency at the nation's seaport, the Nigeria Ports Consultative Council (NPCC) has recommended periodic audits and outlined key performance indicators (KPIs). The NPCC also proposed a workable spectrum of processes with specific solutions capable of driving the NSW by leveraging data and maintaining a strong feedback mechanism. NPCC gave its proposition during the just concluded National Single Window Summit, convened by the Honorable Minister for Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, in Lagos. The NPCC team, led by its chairman, Mr. Balaji Sumola, and the vice chairperson, Mrs. Jean Chiazo, SAN said that the assurance of achieving set objectives and goals of the NSW should be premised on valuable factors. Some of these factors, according to the MPCC team, include developing key performance indicators, KPIs, such as clearance time, transaction cost, and volume of processed cargo to assess system impact, conducting periodic audit to evaluate the system's compliance with international standards and its alignment with the goals of transparency. That was the Maritime News. Thank you for listening. The show continues in a bit.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you. Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B, with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't shop proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily. Email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. Nigerian Shippers Council with the meeting now for the port of Unanid.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency, and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos. Or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime today is the program we set for the conversation, and I can tell you most of the areas we're looking at on our screen in the studios still looking pretty cool and calm, no major worries. And so on Maritime today, we're dissecting the essence of the new tariffs in the maritime sector. And joining me on the line this morning, I have Dr. Kayode Farrington. He's the CEO of NICLA. All right, nice to have you join us. Good. Happy New Year. Yeah, it's great to have you on the program. Dr. Farrington,
yes,
we'll come to the
year 2024. I want to much. We move at the speed of snail, and that is why we've been shouting that most of these policies, the federal government needs to carry out.
Forex was a major issue. The fluctuating forex exchange.
Yeah, exchange rates.
Yes, it gave most of you that are stakeholders a lot of challenges. And at the point, some of you were recommending that there should be a stable rate at which some of these goods can be imported or perhaps exported. Has that taken place? So far, so good. Yes, and at the point last year, you guys were suggesting that the government should introduce a stable rate for imports of goods. Did that take place last year? Did that take place?
It never, and that is why the level of import actually began to drop when we had this fluctuation of dollars. We were thinking that the federal government in a wise decision would look at it and peg exchange rate for import purposes, but this was not done. Hence, we started...
Which is quite unfortunate. Let's now come to the big talk amongst clearing agents right now. During the week, I know you spoke and some others have spoken, and that's about the Nigerian Customs Service introducing a 4% processing charge on goods to be cleared at the ports. Give us an insight into what this charge is all about.
Yes, when we were actually defending the customs bill then, before it was signed into Act, it now became Act 2023. We never knew that this particular clause has been smuggled in. Part 5 of the Section 18 now empowers Nigerian Customs Service to charge 4% of free on board on all imports. And it has been signed by the last administration, that is Buhari himself. So what it means is that it's not a law. So unfortunately, we just woke up a few days ago and saw that on the system it has been introduced, implemented. No sensitization, no stakeholder engagement, nothing.
Right.
So, and that is the brouhaha we're having now. And I took my time to study the law itself. The same Part 5 of Section 23 of the same law they are quoting says that Nigerian customs duty and excise and other charges payments into their website, and there shall be enough sensitization, and this has not been done.
Okay.
Permit me to just digress a bit.
Right.
2 days ago, I think yesterday, Nigerian Port Authority called every stakeholder, sensitizing them that they have approval to increase their charges by 15%. They have the approval 2 years ago. They are now sensitizing Nigerians that they want to implement. These are the things that normally happens in the normal clients. But what we saw was a situation where Nigerian Customs Service just began implementation. And this is causing a lot of crisis. As I talk to you now, 70% of importers hold on to their consignment. They have not made declaration.
Right. And have you made your grievances? Have you made it known to the Nigerian Customs Service?
Yes, we have. And we have sent even messages to the supervisor said is going to ameliorate the suffering of the Nigerians. And it now becomes double taxation when you are charging 4% for custom, and there's still 1% comprehensive import supervision scheme, which was actually meant to service customs on the area of destination inspection.
Right.
So it is either you let one go and you now introduce the other, and there must be proper sensitization.
Right.
Agreement with our importers that runs between now and May, June. And we have an agreement that it is door-to-door delivery. We are bringing social consignment, delivering into our warehouse. We have signed a lot of MOUs on this.
Right.
So for me to now go back to them, it is a breach of agreement. And that is why they say our environment, the maritime environment is not too business friendly.
Right. It's very volatile.
What ordinarily Nigerian Customs will have done to start sensitizing Nigerians by October or perhaps second quarter of 2025, we want to begin to implement this fee, which is actually captured in 2023 customs law.
All right. So let me just bring it to your attention now. Would it be said, or perhaps would it be right, if we now say this 4% insertion into the Customs Act is just meant to generate revenue for the federal government? Is that the way clearing agents are looking at it?
It's not revenue for federal government. It's for custom operations and every other thing they want to do. It's not even going to federal government.
Okay.
This 4% is for customs. Procedure, processing, and whatever they are doing, they are giving us pre-arrival assessment report, any other oversight function they have, is for them. And maybe after a while, federal government will now say, draw your salary, the salary of your men from that your 4%. I'm sure it's going to be a gradual thing.
Right.
Because I know how government works. So after a while, maybe after 1 year, government will say you are collecting 4% of all import. Go and start paying your salary from there.
Right. Anyway, you've called for a 90-day sensitization period.
Yes, minimum in an advance in a normal climb. That's how it's supposed to be. Yes.
Right. So, what key elements should be included in this sensitization? This process that you're talking about. What do you think should be done?
What I think should be done is to call, number one, call stakeholders meeting, engage them. We have this law that we want to implement. We will need you to tell your partners, that's our principals, that's our importers, that by come October 1st, these fees will be implemented. Go to your website, publish on your website, because anywhere in the whole world, where anybody is, once they access your website, they will know that Customs will begin to implement a processing fee from October 2025.
Right.
That is an ideal situation. We are not in Kangaroo Republic, a banana republic. So, and that is why you'll be carrying along everybody. Anybody that is going to enter into any agreement, whether MOU, whether any understanding with our partners abroad, will take cognizance of this fee and let them know that come October, this will be implemented.
Right. And for the volume of goods that are imported into the country, Dr. Farrington, do you think 4% isn't too high?
Yeah, because when this law, it was a bill, when we went to defend it, I never saw this. But it doesn't mean that Customs did not push it forward. But there's nothing anybody can do for now, because it has been signed by the Commander-in-Chief then. Before you even make any amendment to that law, it will take another 5 years. And let me say this, the second proviso of that law even allow custom to increase from the 4%. So we should be guided and know what we're doing. So if you're implementing this 4%, let Nigerians, the whole world, be sensitized, be aware that this fee will be implemented.
Right.
It's definitely going back to the final consumer.
Which is
and that is why we say we have about 10 duty and other levies on one cargo. It's going to encourage people to still want to say, okay, we are diverting our cargo to neighboring country.
Right.
Which is bringing law that is discouraging the importers. If I am the commander-in-chief of this country, every importer that is bringing consignment to this Nigeria deserves a national award because the environment is not too friendly.
It's very, very hostile. All right, so now that it's been introduced, and I'm just looking at the impact. This is 4 days down the line. I think this was introduced on Tuesday. So what is the impact on the sector? So far, so good.
Yeah, the impact on the sector is that, number one, people are watching. A lot of people who have cargo in the port are not making declaration. They are watching what federal government will come up with. Federal Ministry of Finance said they are consulting. I don't know why it's taking time. It's not too difficult for suspend this collection. Let us go and discuss. But unfortunately, by the time Customs will issue a circular, they said their controllers should be sensitizing Nigerians. That means that they want to continue with the collection. It's very, very unfortunate.
Okay,
it's very, very saddening.
Yeah, so it's not possible for you to do continuous sensitization and you're implementing at the same time.
Exactly. What kind of sensitization are you doing when you have started it? It's English. Nigerians, too many semantics. They just bring it and they slap it on Nigerians. And we just take it believing that God did. Meanwhile, we have the power to say reject this thing.
Right. Okay, then, so you have spoken. Are others also speaking as well? Other allied associations, other stakeholders, are they also,
Yes, everybody is surprised and everybody is lending their voice to the fact that some people are even saying it should be abrogated completely. But I am aware is the law that we may not be able to do that. But what you can do is to suspend it in this interest of peace, in the interest of this nation, and in national interest. Suspend it, sensitize Nigerians enough before you begin implementation.
Right. Well, like you said, the charge is already in the law, and some have said this is going to help to modernize custom operations. But what alternative funding model do you think, or would you have suggested instead of this 4%?
Yeah, the 4% is not as if it's bad. I would have suggested, if I was privileged to see this law when it was a bill, charge your 4%, let it be on custom, cost, insurance, and freight, CIF, not on FOB. Okay. Because the FOB issue will be too much high. What it means is that if you have a consignment that is worth 5 million euro, all you have to do is to multiply the 5 million euro by exchange rate, which is about 1,900. Now look for the 4% of it going to customs cover. Instead of charging CIF, it's supposed to be CIF so that it will be moderate. It will not be too high.
Right.
So the higher your volume, your invoice, that means the higher the 4% you'll be paying.
Right. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. On Maritime today this morning, we're dissecting the essence of new tariffs in the maritime sector. And guesting on the phone line this morning, I have Dr. Kayode Farrington, CEO, Wealthy Honey Investment Limited, and former acting president, Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents. We're going to take a short break right now. When we return, Dr. Farrington will let us know, is this similar to other countries? I mean, introducing a processing fee for customs, is that the same thing across the world? He will let us know. And of course, we also dwell on other tariffs that have been introduced in the maritime sector. What overall impact will all of this have on stakeholders? These are many more we're reflecting on, and we'll also hear from you too. 09153-877-127 and 08099-120777. A brief break. We'll be back.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos. Or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime today is the program, and I stay with me, Dr. Kayode Farrington on the line. He's connecting with us this morning as we're reflecting on some recent trends in the maritime sector relating to processing fees and, of course, increased tariffs as well. Ekpe corridor this morning, most of the areas there still looking pretty good. Of course, traffic is moving on pretty fine. Areas that we're covering within that particular end, no major worries. Those of you making use of the Third Mainland Bridge is still looking good as well. It's a breeze on the entire stretch of the over 12-kilometer bridge there. Is looking good, and Ikorodu Road is faring pretty well too. Dr. Farrington, let's get back to the conversation. So, this newly introduced processing fee for imported goods, is it the same for all customs across the world? Do we have the same?
There are some countries that actually charge processing fee for their customs, like China does that, and a few European countries. It depends on the nation. It depends on the country itself. And all these countries that do that do not have preponderance number of taxes the way we have it in Nigeria. They do not stream trade the way we are streaming trade, and they don't kill cargo. Because very soon now, in the next few months now, they want to introduce what is called cargo tracking notice levy again on one cargo. On one cargo. So another levy is coming very soon. And this government is proposing to increase VAT to 10%. So other crimes where they are doing it, they do it, but it's very, very negligible, very minimal, and it's not too offensive or too killing the striping trade the way it is being done or is about to be done in Nigeria.
Right. So
it's not as if it's a new thing. Some countries are actually charging it, but it's very minimal. Some are even charging 0.5%, some are 0.01%, very, very negligible.
Right.
Because by the time you collect 0.5% of a value or invoice in 1 million places, you know what it is.
That's right. So what about the tariffs from the Nigerian Port Authority? I mean, they are sensitizing people now, but what effect could that have as well? 15%?
Of course, definitely, that's what I'm saying. It will definitely increase the cost of cargo clearance in Nigeria. What they want to do is to, Nigerian Port Authority does not manage any terminal. But talk about batting fees. Before a vessel bats on our waterway, they pay what is called batting fees in dollars. I am not surprised if this kind of fees will be charged or increased, and many other fees. Then the issue of terminal operator, cargo handling throughput, there is a concessionary agreement on that. So it's going to be a difficult thing for you to increase that one overnight.
Right.
But there are other charges that we actually tell on the same cargo that they may want to charge, that they may want to increase. Yeah.
All right, then 08099120777. Messages are streaming in here for you. This one says, good morning, Traffic Radio. How will these tariffs affect importers and exporters, especially SMEs? You didn't put your name. Thank you so much for your question. I think Farrington touched on that earlier on. This one says, good morning, Victor. Happy weekend. Dr. Kayode, what impact do you foresee on the cost of goods in the market? This is Emeka sending this one in. Thank you so much, Emeka. So, you might want to respond to that one quickly?
Yes, that's what I said. With the introduction of the 4%, Nigerians should expect that minimum of 29.94% increment on cargo clearance.
Wow.
That's what by my calculation. I'm not a scientist. My PhD is on international law, but then I do know that with my elementary mathematics, I should be able to arrive at something. Collating data of what we have last year, looking at it vis-a-vis the collection is going to be about 29.94% increment on all cargos.
And that's going to be huge.
Affecting all cargos.
All right, this one says, good morning, Traffic Radio. This increase in the tariffs will worsen Nigeria's ease of doing business. I think it's insensitive to the plight of people. Thanks, Engineer Ola. He sent that one. Engineer Ola, thank you so much for this one. This one says,
yes, it is insensitive to the plight of Nigerians. The only thing that can give us ease of doing business in Nigeria is the introduction of the national single window, which is ongoing, which the federal government is actually midwifing.
Right.
Because that is the only thing that can give us seamless cargo operation in our port.
All right, then. 08099120777 09153877127. I see here with me Dr. Kayode Farrington is an experienced licensed custom agent, and of course he is the CEO of Wealthy Honey Investment Limited. This one says, good morning, Traffic Radio. Aren't we likely to see an increase in smuggling due to higher tariffs? Sukomi is sending this one in from Ogba.
This is one of the reasons I said that there must be sensitization. Because what it means is that when you push somebody to a wall, that person will definitely want to look for alternative. Nigerians are not too patient. It's just recently that we are celebrating the fact that some of our unapproved routes are being manned properly by custom. This same custom bringing this levy should know that it's going to affect the rate of smuggling.
Right.
It will definitely increase the rate of smuggling.
All right, so Sukomi is very correct in this one.
Very, very.
All right, this one says, how can the government balance revenue generation with trade facilitation? He didn't put your name too. Thank you so much.
That's a beautiful question, and it's not difficult to answer. You see, when you talk about that, I am one of those that say that federal government does not need to give customs targets again. Giving customs target negates international principles.
Okay.
And that is when we cannot achieve trade facilitation. It is not even impossible for customs to generate more than the 12 trillion that you are giving them. But when you put them on tension, they will go extra mile targeting that particular target that you have given them that they must achieve. And that means they will do extra. There's what they call extrajudicial killing when I was in secondary school.
Right.
That means they will go outside the book. They want to generate revenue. This thing happened about 2 years ago, where on one cargo they were giving demand notice more than 2-3 times, which has never been happening in the history of our cargo clearance. So that is one of the things that it will cause, definitely.
Right. I know that you've also made some statements. You suggested that clearing agents will resist hasty payments and leave cargo at the ports for a week in protest.
Yes.
So have these stakeholders, have they responded to this call?
Yes, people are leaving their cargoes in the port. But you know that there are about many categories of cargoes. There are some that cannot be left in the port, like perishable goods.
Okay.
You can't leave them in the port because as they are arriving, they are plugging them into a light, and the importer would not afford to do that. If he's doing that at his own peril. He's going to lose it because they will get spoiled.
Right.
And there's other cargo like bulk cargo. A lot of people, maybe the compliance level is about 35%, which is normal. Some people say, let me get my cargo out. The most important thing is I will not import again, if this is what government wants to do. And that is not too good for the economy.
So what risks do clearing agents face if they refuse to comply with this new charge?
Well, there's nothing we can do, but our principals and our clients will see that we have actually fight on their behalf. Everything in Nigeria needs lobbying and connections. So we have made the government to realize that you need to do it. I even suggested that if you must implement this 4%, remove the 1% CISS and remove the 15% on used vehicle, which is NAC levy. This will ameliorate the suffering of Nigerians. And Nigeria, okay, they have removed these two levies. We can go with this 4%.
Right.
This is for custom operation. All
right. So do you think government will reconsider its stance on this?
Why not? That's what is government. What is government? We are the government. This government is a listening government, and we are pleading with them that in the interest of the generality of Nigeria, please do the needful.
Right. Now, customs is under the Ministry of Finance, right?
Yes.
So if Wale Adeniyi, who is the Controller General of Customs, is not listening to you, are you ready to take that battle to?
Why not? We have sent our position paper to the Minister of Finance on this, making him realize the negative impact of what the customs is about to do, and advising them that they should inform customs to do sensitization for a minimum of 90 days before implementation.
Right. Let's begin to round this all up now, because I know this is a huge one in the industry. So what's your message to the Nigerian government regarding this implementation of this trade-related
My message to the Nigerian government is that I know that the economy is so bad, and we feel for this government, but government must still be sensitive to the plight of Nigerians, must be a listening one. I know Bola Ahmed Tinubu government is a listening one. Please, in the interest of this country, in national interest, this levy should be suspended for a minimum of 90 days for proper sensitization. That's number one. Then government should abrogate the collection of the 1% CISS so that it will reduce the cost of cargo clearance and will not be stripping trade in Nigeria.
All right, then. We'll
and the 15% on levy 2 should be abrogated.
All right.
Because if it is not, that means you don't even want used vehicles to come to Nigeria again.
Dr. Fainto, always a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so much for joining with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very grateful.
Okay, then. So this morning, we've dissected the essence of the new tariffs in the maritime sector. And Dr. Khalid Fainto, who is a CEO, Wealthy Honey Investment Limited, former acting president, Association of Nigeria Licensed Custom Agents, Analka, has taken us to the classroom. We have to go. Mike James has produced the program as usual. Maximum thanks to Rebecca Damu, Assistant Director of Public Relations for the Nigerian Shippers Council. Alfred John and Okwemi Shouldn't both of them of our social media unit. We do appreciate you. Kufre Idara also in the building as well. Our executive producer is Taya Conley. My name is Victor Oteri. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves, but celebrate moderately at all times. Bye.